All right, welcome back, Algebra 1 students. Mr. Friend here. We're moving on to Chapter 2. Chapter 2, and it is writing equations is the first section in the chapter. This chapter is going to be all about solving equations, and this section is going to be one of the easier ones, faster ones, because we've done a lot of this back in section 1.1. So our objective here, remember, is to translate equations in verbal sentences. We did kind of that back in 1.1 where it was just expressions, but now we're dealing with equations. So first, what is an equation? We should know now that it's a mathematical statement with an equal sign. We also know that it can be solved. We're going to get a solution. We're going to get an answer. And then we're also going to tell you to check back here and check your notes back from section 1.1 for all those clue words. What makes add, subtract, divide, multiply, all those things. And we want to make sure that, again, that's back to section 1.1. We also want to make sure that we touch on this again, that equals is translates to the word is. Those are the same thing basically. Or you might see it say is equal to. And you might see it say is the same as. Those are all words and phrases that mean equal. So when we spot those out, we can say, oh, that's the equal sign. So just one word to look up there. Okay, practice problem here. We've done this before back in 1.1 with expressions, but translate each sentence into equation. Let's do this. Let's do a couple of these. So the first one, 7 times a number squared is 5 times the difference of k and m. So the first thing I like to do is find the is, or the word that resembles is. Because then I know, hey, there it is. That's my equal sign. Okay, that's going to be my equal sign. So on the left side of this, we've got 7 times a number squared. We should be able to do this now. So 7, and we don't know the number, so we can use a variable, x, and we're squaring that. So 7x squared. Okay, and you can use any variable you want. X is just easy for teachers to throw that in there. So 7x squared. Now the other time, you've got 5 times the difference of k and m. So when we think about the difference here, the difference of, that's going to give us, that's a clue word for subtraction, but it's also going to, as if we've got 2 things going on here, it's going to give us a hint that there are parentheses, the difference of k and m. So that would be k minus m here in parentheses, and it's 5 times that difference, so it would be 5 times the k minus m. Okay, let's go down to letter C here and try this one. 15 times a number subtracted from 80 is 25. So we take a look at this one. Here's our is. That's our equal sign. That's our first step. And the right side of this becomes pretty easy because it's just 25 over there. So we can just put that as 25. Now the left side, 15 times a number subtracted from 80. So remember we talked about subtraction can be tricky sometimes. We got to make sure that we figure out what order we're subtracting in. So make sure we pay real close attention when there's subtraction going on. So we've got a couple things here. We know 15 times a number. We know that's going to be 15x. And then we know this 80 is going to be 80. So what's happening when we read this problem? What order would it go in? Is 15x being subtracted from 80, or is 80 being subtracted from 15x? In this case, it says 15 times a number is being subtracted from 80. So 80 is going to go first, and then we're going to subtract the 15x because the 15x is being subtracted from that 80. Okay? Let's move on here now to translate each equation into a sentence. And this is just vice versa. We can do this and put it into words. I know you can do this with expressions. I'm not even going to go through these because I think you guys can do these on your own. I'm pretty confident with that. Remember, the equal sign equals is the only real difference. Okay. Next one, write an equation for each statement. Then we want to solve it. So there's approximately 87,000 airplane flights in the U.S. daily. That's a lot. How many days will it take for 261,000 flights to occur? So a couple different ways we could attack this. You could say, all right, we want to write an equation, so we know there's got to be an equal sign somewhere. All right. So, and then we want to solve to get an answer. So we're doing 2 things here. Now I'm asking you to solve. Before I wasn't asking you to solve. So we could do this a couple different ways. You can go 87,000 times x, that's how many days, is going to equal the number we're looking for, 261,000. Okay, that's one way to do it, and then you could solve by dividing by 87,000. But I think some of you guys are just going to go right to division, and you're going to say, all right, let's say this 261,000 divided by 87,000 equals X. That's what I'm guessing a lot more of you are going to do. So we can actually do that math in your calculator. We should get a nice round answer of 3 days. And there we have it. Okay, check my math. Sometimes I'm off on those. It happens even to math teachers and math geniuses. All right, the next one. Jelly bean manufacturer produces 1,250,000 jelly beans per hour. How long will it take to produce 10 million jelly beans? Okay, so the same idea. Let's jump right to that division, and let's say 10 million. That's a lot of jelly beans. And then we're going to divide that by 1,250,000 and equals X, because we're writing the equation. So you have to have an equal sign in there. Okay? So now we do this. Again, we can do the division, and we get 8. And we talk about our labels. Since we're dealing with hours, per hours, it would take 8 hours. 8 hours to do that. And they're asking for how long. Okay? All right. Now, letter C is an interesting one. Okay? And I'm going to let you guys do this one because it's got that $5 plus that's already there. So it's probably going to be tricky to you. I want you to try this on your own, and maybe you can bring a question about it on tomorrow when we get to this. But that's a little bit tricky with that 5 that's going to be there, a constant we call it. So we'll just let you try that on your own. We can ask questions about it. Okay, so that wraps it up. Lesson summary now. We want to list 2 other words for that symbol. Whatever that symbol is, give me 2 other words that mean that. And then in our practice problem, we're going to write in words this expression, 7x to the 3rd power minus x equals 14. You're going to write that in words. Okay, so that's it. Nice, short, and sweet lesson for your Chapter 2 getting started. Work on those, finish those notes up, and we'll have questions and practice tomorrow.